And let's look into the places of i'tikaf. Where should we do i'tikaf? What are the different kinds of places where we can do i'tikaf? Masjid is obviously one of the places of i'tikaf. This masjid, any masjid. But there are other 3 holy mosques that we know. This is a special i'tikaf. This is also allowed. Somebody can go there to perform i'tikaf. What are the 3 holy mosques that we know? The first one is, of course, Masjid al-Haram in Makkah, Masjid al-Nabawi in Medina, and the third one is what? Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem. These are the 3 holiest mosques in order. So that's one of the places where we can perform i'tikaf. And also, can we perform i'tikaf in home? All scholars agreed that for men, they definitely cannot perform i'tikaf at home. They have to come to masjid. And we'll see some other conditions. But for women, there's like difference of opinion. Some scholars said that they can, some scholars said they cannot. And the reason why they are saying that is because the mother of the believers, Ummahatul Mu'mineen, after Rasulullah ﷺ passed away, they always performed i'tikaf in the masjid. They never did that at home. So that was their practice. So that's why scholars said they should come to the masjid. But some scholars said that might not be feasible for women in some masajid. So they said it is okay for her to do at home. But it's better, if it's better to perform in masjid, but if they can, then they can do at home as well. Wallahu a'lam. So what are the conditions of a masjid? Is any masjid okay for i'tikaf, or do we have to look for something when we want to select a masjid? So the most important condition for a masjid is that this masjid should have 5 regular prayers for sure, established 5 prayers. So, there are some masajids, in some places where they're specifically made for, like, for example, travelers, or maybe like for working people. So on the weekends you won't see any people there. It's like masjids for specific duration, specific time. So these do not qualify. It has to be a functioning masjid, and they have to be 5-time prayers. It has to be established in those masjids. And also, does it have to have Jummah Salah? Scholars said that it is preferred to have Jummah Salah, because that way he doesn't have to come out of the masjid and go to another masjid. So if the masjid is not having Jummah Salah, it's like a musalla for example, then they said that he can come out, because now it becomes a necessity for him and it's obligatory. So he can go out. It's not a problem that he can do, but he should select a masjid. He should try and select a masjid which has Jummah Salah. Alright, and also you have to check, sometimes there's like an i'tikaf on abandoned masjid or something. That is not allowed. You have to check that masjid has to be functioning properly. But for a woman, it's easy. It's not that strict. They can select any masjid. For example, the one that I said, a masjid where there are no weekend prayers, she can still do her i'tikaf there. Why? Because the prayers for her, praying in Jama'ah, in congregation, it is not obligatory like for men. They have to come to the masjid. But for women, she doesn't have to, so that is okay. So that is easy for her. But most of the questions that people ask, like, what exactly do you mean by masjid? Can I do like anywhere in the masjid? Can I do in office room? Can I do here, there, in the basement? Where exactly can I be in the masjid? So what scholars said that, if there is a place in the masjid, if you can pray in that place, if everybody is free to pray in that place, then that is considered part of i'tikaf. You can do that. So for example, we have this office room now, right? So can people pray in that place? They can pray. So that is part of i'tikaf, right? But for example, we have this new place, masjid, right? New masjid that Suffolk Islamic Center. Now there we have Imam's house in the property too, right? Can we make i'tikaf there? We tell Sheikh that, Sheikh, we need one room, please give us. I want to make i'tikaf there. We cannot do that, because now that is his property, right? That he lives there. it is not open for general public. If I want to go there and offer my prayers there, is it open for me? It's not, because probably his wife lives there, his children lives there, so it's not. It is inside the masjid, but it is not a valid place for making itikaf. So that's something that we have to think about. Can we go in the parking lot during itikaf? We can, because you have to ask, can we pray in the parking lot? Is it open? I mean, in Jummah prayer, when we get overflowed, we pray outside. So that is okay. You can even go there. You can even sit there. You can have your rugs there. That is fine. But if there is a place which we do not offer prayers, if it is not meant to be a prayer place, then it is not. So some people might be praying outside the masjid as well. They will say that we will make itikaf there, just put a small tent there, but that is not part of the masjid, because that is not registered as Suffolk Islamic Center, for example. So that is something that scholars mention. And Sheikh Saleh Munajjid, he said that the courtyard that is enclosed within the wall of the mosque comes under the same rulings of the mosque. And many scholars said that, including Imam Nawawi and Imam Shafi, rahmatullah. Look at what are the actions that we should be doing during itikaf. Regular things that we always do, but we have to do it very, very specifically, devoting yourself to it, dhikr, salah, and Quran, dua, as much as possible. But the question is, are you supposed to be fasting during itikaf? If you want to do itikaf, do you have to fast? If you, for example, Ramadan, of course, everybody fasts. But for example, in Shawwal, if you want to make your itikaf, the scholar said that it is recommended that you fast, but it is not compulsory. It's better. And also, you can also attend Islamic knowledge lectures. That is fine. But it's better if you completely isolate yourself for worship. If you want to attend Islamic knowledge halaqas, that's fine, but that particular time you should focus more on worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also, it's not about just worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sitting there and reading Quran and making dhikr. It's all about the heart. As I said, itikaf is a spiritual training for you to remove all that rust from your heart. So you have to involve your heart. It's all about your heart. So you have to feel that tranquility. You have to keep that low voice. You have to just, focus, and you have to just imagine that it's just you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can talk with others and other things, get socialized for a little brief time, but this time it's all about involving your heart with worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, spending lots and lots of time alone with Him, focusing completely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And other thing that we have to do in itikaf is striving hard as much as possible. It's not a vacation time. It's not a vacation time. If people think that I want to do itikaf because kids trouble me a lot at home, or I have a lot of stress at my work, so I need like a breakout time, I want a vacation time, then this is not called itikaf. Itikaf is actually something you have to do lots and lots of hard work, because you obviously want to earn a lot of hasanat, because you're now a special guest, so you're getting special rewards, not general rewards. And also scholars said that you should try to eat less, for example. You eat less, because if you eat more, you're gonna feel very sleepy, right? And if you feel sleepy, if you're sleeping much, then you lose the purpose of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you try to sleep less also and worship more. So I know there are sometimes people, that sometimes teenage brothers also get involved and they're excited about itikaf, and sometimes you see them like maybe playing, or maybe if the masjid has a courtyard or even the basketball thing, they'll start playing there, and they'll say, oh, we are in the masjid and we are doing itikaf. That is not itikaf. They are supposed to be dedicated. Even elders, they are not supposed to be wasting their time. It's not about spending the time in the masjid, right? It's about worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like if I am fasting, right? If I am fasting, can I play basketball? I can play basketball. There is no restriction. The only thing I have to worry about is I should not eat and drink and all those other conditions. But I'm free to do everything. But in case of itikaf, that's not the case. You not only have to be in the masjid, but you also have to dedicate yourself to worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's talk about some of the prohibitions. There are a few things that you cannot do itikaf during itikaf. If you do it, your itikaf will be broken. It's over. First thing is that leaving the masjid itself. You cannot leave the masjid boundary. So if you leave it, then you're out of itikaf. You miss out on all the rewards. So leaving the masjid will invalidate your itikaf. We have a hadith from Abu Dawud there. But even if, like for example, what about, can you go to visit a sick person? The scholar said that no, you cannot go, because that's a hadith from Aisha radiallahu anha. You cannot go. Even you cannot go for janazah, for the burial. You cannot go. You cannot leave the masjid, because this is a very sacred worship that you are doing here. This is very special. Yeah, those are very rewarding too, but you're dedicated yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What if somebody like invites you for dinner? They'll say, oh brother, you're doing an excellent job, you're doing itikaf, why don't you come for a dinner to my house? Now we have a hadith that you should not reject the invitations, but this act of itikaf overrides that hadith, and you should not accept invitations. The second thing is that if somebody performs intimacy with the spouse during itikaf, then the itikaf will be broken. So for example, this hadith says that if you have like an urgent need or necessity, you can go to your house, right? So if somebody goes there and gets involved with the physical act with the wife, then the itikaf is broken. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specifically mentions this in the Holy Quran, in one of the verses. In Surah Al-Baqarah, in verse number 187, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ولا تباشروهن وأنتم عاكفون في المساجد تلك حدود الله فلا تقربوها كذلك يبين الله آياته للناس لعلهم يتقون. And do not have relations with them, your spouses, as long as you are staying for worship in the mosques. These are the limits set by Allah, so do not approach them. Does Allah make clear His ordinances to the people that they become righteous? So this is a straightforward verse from the Quran itself, and the word itikaf, akifun, is mentioned in the Quran. And also, if you notice here, Allah is saying akifun fil masajid, in the mosque itself. So that's one hint there that itikaf is in the masjid. So if somebody gets involved, then he has to start all over again. That previous itikaf is broken. And also, is there any expiation? So if somebody leaves the masjid, does he have to pay any penalty or any fine or anything, kafara? The scholar said that no, he doesn't have to pay anything. It's okay if he breaks. It's just he lost all the rewards there. That he would have had got if he performed itikaf. It's similar to like when we are offering nafil prayers. You just if you wanted to earn a lot of hasanah, so you decided to pray 2 rakas nafil prayers, for example. Can you break your salah? If you break your salah just for no reason, it's not something good to do. But if you break, there is no penalty. You don't have to pay for anything, kafara for that. That's okay, but it's just that you didn't do a good thing.